I'd like to call upon Karen's higher self, please.
I am here.
Thank you. Are we able to do a body scan for her and get her body in balance and harmony?
Yes, we'll do that throughout the session.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We were wondering about the near Earth objects that were coming between the Earth and the Moon. What would you like us to know about those?
You'll start seeing more of them. There's been 12 that are considered near Earth objects in the last month. One came very close yesterday on April 12th. And probably in the next 30 days, you'll see 30 to 40 more that come into the proximity of Earth, and some are going to be very close. They are considered by your scientists as bullet burns. I don't see any of them hitting Earth, but they're there to they're there as a sign. It's one of the signs that are given to the people that have been doing their inner work and been listening and know things will be changing soon.
I see. Thank you so much. And one, what was called an asteroid, blew up near Tanzania. Sorry, is that correct?
Yes, that's what I'm seeing. It was pretty close to an airplane that was in the sky. There was no danger. The plane did have a little turbulence after it exploded, the asteroid. But nobody, of course, was hurt, and it didn't make the plane malfunction in any way. But it was a surprise because that's never happened before, to be so close to an aircraft that belonged to humanity.
Was there any guidance and support from your higher dimensional beings to help protect the people on the plane?
The trajectory of the asteroid was known, and we didn't have to interfere because it wasn't going to be close enough while the plane was on its own path. So we just let it continue on a natural course, and it did what it was supposed to. It entered Earth's atmosphere and it got the attention of many, and it blew up.
What caused it to blow up?
When it enters the atmosphere, most objects catch on fire. That's what the atmosphere is made to do. So the Earth is protected. And there's gases inside. And as the object shrinks from being ignited and burning, it eventually hits the gases, and then you have an explosion.
Fantastic. And thank you so much for that. It's so interesting to know about that more, since I'm completely oblivious to any of that. So thank you. In terms of Elon Musk, we keep sensing that we want to just keep double checking what is he up to. And what can you tell us about him today?
When I think of Elon Musk, there's some connection to Mars as well. It's like the Anunnaki possibly have a base there on Mars, and they've contacted him, and they have given him technology. They did that for their own agenda, not to help him per se grow his company, but they knew that he and his company could help them by developing what they need to control humanity, or even another society that possibly is going to be settled into this galaxy.
So tell me more about the Anunnaki. What is their agenda for humanity?
I don't know if they have rights, and that's not the right word to use. Claims, they want to claim humanity, but that was taken, their privileges were taken away a long time ago, thousands and thousands of years. They're actually banned from Earth. So I think they got a hold of Eli. His name's not Eli, Elon, through his launching of his satellites. And the satellites are always monitored. And they contacted him through his own technology. And he doesn't even know he's being used. He just thinks he's captured this information and now he owns it. They actually own him.
And do you get a sense of why they were banned or removed from having access to being on Earth?
You guys talk about crimes against humanity now. It was so much worse when they were here. Humanity was nothing but animals to them. Not even animals, they were just specimens, experiments.
I see.
And they interfered with their growth, humanity's growth, spiritually and on a physical level as well.
Is there going to be a future where they can enter back into Earth and occupy this planet again?
The Anunnaki tribe, I'll call them, that I see on Mars, they have the darker agendas. The ones that are on their vehicle called Nibiru, they will actually be in support as a third density planet, even though that's not a planet, for humanity that needs to reside there after we shift. So there are two forces, just like you have good and bad here. They also have that in their own culture.
I see. And is there anything else you want us to know about the Anunnaki? Who removed them from having access to the planet?
There is a committee, that's the closest word I can get for you. And it's galactical level. And it consists of possibly 9 species that have made treaties or agreements, and they protect civilizations that are as advanced. They made that decision and they removed them.
And in terms of using Elon Musk, are we needing to know what their intentions are? I mean, why are they surveilling us, and what are they trying to do here?
Elon thinks he is doing it for a surveillance project, but the end game is actually implanting AI at a nano level into humans, into their brains, and they can be totally controlled or even eliminated through that device.
And how would that device enter into our systems and bodies?
Ingesting it, and it automatically knows where to travel to.
And so what would it be in for us to ingest?
It looks like drinks that are produced and bottled, but they're not bottles, they're cans. They seem very popular with younger generation people. There's something else I wanted to say about this Elon Musk thing. he, like I said, he doesn't know that he's being used on this level. And governments of the world gave him permission to launch his satellites. It almost seems like there's somebody in another country that does have the knowledge, but I'm not seeing who it is. But it's not in the United States. It's like in Europe somewhere.
I see. And so he's being inspired to produce this nanotechnology to put into these drinks.
Yeah.
I see. And do you see that that actually will, is it already occurring or is that going to occur? What can you tell me about that?
They think they're doing really well. They think they're in their final stages of implementing everything, but it will never come to fruition. Your galactical friends will not let that happen. In order for this project to totally work, his satellites have to be online and fully functional. And we're going to give them problem after problem.
Oh, I see.
A part of this implant, we'll call it an implant, is to make sure that some of the humans that ingest this, and it actually could travel to their brains, they don't want society, the majority of society, to ascend off this planet. Even though Gaia is going to leave and it'll be a void of a planet, they want to capture as many as they can and possibly transport them to Mars and make another civilization like they once had. That's what I'm seeing.
Oh, I see. Okay. And so, I have heard people being afraid of nanotechnology, really paranoid that it's going to be in the testings for some of a virus that is in popular culture right now. So, what can you tell us about that? Why are so many people already afraid of the nanotechnology in AI?
Can you repeat the end of that question?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I realized I waffled. Sorry. Many people are aware of AI and these nanotechnology um, uh, capabilities, very concerned and afraid. What can you tell them, the people who already know about this?
Ego drives many men to do things that they wouldn't do normally. It's not that they've been promised fame or fortune. It's in the power of knowing and in controlling. So they go forward, not even realizing the implications of how this could actually affect the human population or even the future of humanity. That's the word I want, the future.
So, in terms of the information that he's been getting, how does that information transpire to effectively implanting technology into each individual person? What does he believe he is doing?
He believes that he's creating a data bank that will help humanity through their personal records, such as medical, banking, jobs, everything about them that's easily accessed in its total transparency for the whole world to see. That's what he thinks his end game is. And of course, the surveillance from his satellites keeps also everybody honest. He's totally addicted to that, obsessed with that becoming his lifelong desire and dream. Seems like as a child, he was never looked upon as of importance and wasn't included in a lot of things. So now he wants total transparency. He gets to know everything. That's on a professional and personal level for him, for Elon. For the guy that I see in Europe, to him, it's just all ego based. And he's been in connection with beings off planet for a long time.
And so they know that they're connecting to other beings, but they don't have intuition that potentially they're being used.
Elon does not know, but the group in Europe does know that they have contact with other beings, and they had a relationship for many years with them, and they've worked with them on other projects. Some of those projects cause war and conflict and the fear and the hate. That was all purposeful until the time came for this technology to be developed. And now that it's here, they're trying to move forward as fast as they can. It's almost like a race. Will it be the ascension first, the shift, or will it be people being moved to another planet to be enlisted as a slave race again?
Do you see people going and being shifted to Mars again to be colonized?
There have been a few volunteers that took on the implant. They were paid well. So I guess we cannot call them volunteers. Those will go to Mars, but it's only a handful. They want to see how well the project is going, how well the technology's been developed. They want to make sure that humans can actually survive the atmosphere there, although they do have camps that are contained for the specific environment of a human. But they're trying to regulate the human body so it can live outside those camps as well. Mars used to be a huge mining field of different minerals and ores that were used by the Anunnaki.
What were they using that for?
They were using it for the stability of their planet to keep it cool.
Oh, I see. And so what do they really want from humanity then?
The ones that have this new project, they want to be accepted again by their society that's basically ostracized them for their bad actions in the past. So they're trying to develop another way to strip mine Mars and get the materials they need, although it will be at the expense of humanity.
I see. Okay. And so are they allowed to do this? Obviously they are doing it, but in terms of the treaty, are they not kind of breaching the contracts of the treaty, so of them being banished, if they're still in connection and having contact with Elon Musk, for example?
The two different groups, one we'll call good, that's the ones that are on Nibiru. They are here to help humanity. They want to have the ban lifted against them. Even though Earth may not be here in the future, there are other potentials for them to develop other relationships throughout the universe. So with the Galactic Council, this is like a project they're doing with them. They're here, they're waiting, they're ready to take on the humans that need the third density planet to continue their work, their growth, their development. The ones that are on Mars, they're the bad group, and they want to use humanity in a different way. It's like humanity's always been pulled. We're so vulnerable out here. We are a weaker species, even though we think we're the shit. We're really not. We've been in a tug of war for a long time. It's like everybody wants a piece of us. And now it's happening with the two sides of the Anunnaki. But that's been going on, and it's been in effect for thousands of years. It's just coming to a head because Gaia is getting ready to exit this planet. Everybody is rushing to finish up what they want for their own agendas.
Okay, thank you so much. And in terms of, say, the reptilians, how come they didn't have the same banishment and removal of being here?
The reptilians that wanted to make a home here, they had no home of their own anymore. And it would have been almost shameful to exile them when they had nowhere to go. The only way that they could have gone somewhere else is with the help of the galactic forces. And they've had to support Earth and other planets like Earth. So they left the reptilians here, and it will be one of the last details they take care of is placing them somewhere else.
Yes, I see. And so I would like to know more information about that, please. In a session that I did a year ago, we were told that people who have got different DNA, now they need to go back to their homes. Would that be part of the reptilians or something else?
Something else. The ones that answered the call when Gaia put out a stress signal, and so many species came to Earth to answer the call. Eventually, DNA was intermingled here. It's not accurate that they have to go back to their homes, but through the DNA, they will know where their home is, and it will be a choice for them. They've developed themselves so much here as a being that their knowledge and experience can be used other places, other planets that are in distress, or even traveling to New Earth to help out there for a while. There's many that have advanced so much, they will have a choice on what they can do.
I see. And so, because I was wondering if, I just needed to clarify, people who have a reptilian DNA but look human and have functioning lives, they are able to have a higher vibration to be able to shift to safer New Earth.
The ones that you're describing that are reptilian but look like human, those sound like the draconians that can shapeshift. And they only came to Earth to conquer's not the world, but they do like to take over planets. And they were here to see what they could actually accomplish, not knowing what the state of the planet was in. That species will return to their home. The reptilians that can look like humans.
I see. And would it be a fair statement to say that many predominant people that we know are these shape-shifting draconians?
I would say maybe 15% of the world's population, if we counted every species, humans, reptilians. It looks like there have been a few Anunnaki here lately. Zetas have visited. I don't see them living here anymore. There are several species that still live here, and maybe 15% of them are draconian.
I see. And so how did a few Anunnaki get here if there was a ban?
They're sneaky. It's like they snuck down here. And that's hard to do because this planet is monitored all the time.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, thank you. And so, can you give me information of the significance of experiencing the old Earth?
Which time period do you want?
After the shift, and why people would want to experience the old Earth?
I want to answer your second question first. The ones that are going to stay behind and support Gaia's departure, that's one of the reasons you will have people staying here after the shift, because the people have to shift before Gaia departs, or there's not enough support for all the humans that are here. And then once she's gone, the world will begin to decay. There will be a lot of stress, surface stress, which will cause volcanoes. And then as that occurs, you'll have earthquakes that go deeper into the core of the planet. Eventually it'll split. I don't see the total destruction, but it will be removed from the solar system.
And so the people who are left after this shift,
They won't be here long. In Earth time, up to 2 years, this whole transition will take. They'll have resources because there's not as many people here, and what's left behind, they can gather and store and collect and use as needed. There'll be villages. Most don't want to live in the big cities where the tall buildings are. They're going to want to be into more of a country setting. Whatever animals they can gather, they'll be like little farms, I guess. They'll have, some will grow fresh vegetables, some will store the canned goods, or even can the old-fashioned way, the fresh vegetables. Wow, I can't get that out. But everybody will have the ones I see that are working together, they do it in harmony. Some will be gatherers, some will be planners of like developing the land or securing what they have, whether it be building a fence or just patrolling the perimeter to keep everybody inside safe. So it looks like there's some conflicts with other people that want the easy way out. They just want to rob and take what they need. They don't want to do any work. They just want to take what others have. So it's almost like the society you have now, but on a smaller scale.
Okay. And so can we assume that all of the people who are on the old Earth were contracted to, but also vibrationally couldn't shift?
It'll be much harder to raise your vibration. It will take skills and knowledge. The ones that stayed behind to support Gaia that are higher beings, they will have a lot of support from their spiritual team and reminders to help them raise their vibration. You still have to do that to leave and go to the new Earth. But once you reach it looks like once you reach a certain point, and the timing is everything, they will they will shift as well. There'll be a few that don't conform. They don't remember. They don't want to give up being that desperado or bandit. They like that life. There's very, very few of them, and they won't shift. They'll die with the planet. The soul doesn't die, but the body does.
Okay, thank you. And so then what is the significance of experiencing the old earth after they have experienced this current life?
It was always known that someone had to wait until Gaia left, and they, the ones that stayed, agreed to be those humans that stayed behind to help support with their energy until she totally departed. So it was in their contracts to stay. And it was more of a, not a warrior role, almost a guardian role. We'll call it a guardian role. They wanted to walk her down the aisle for the last time, say goodbye, kiss her goodnight. And that's why they agreed to do it.
Nice. Okay. And for their experiences from living after the shift on the old earth, how will that help their souls from that experience? Will it help support future lifetimes and significant events?
The experience they gather and take to source can be applied to other planets that are also in not as bad a shape, but it could be that way very quickly. So what they're doing is I'm trying to find the right words for this. It's like living a different life, though. I mean, everything is so different. It's darker. There's not very much joy. They're always just like in work mode or survival mode. It's very sad, actually. It's the hardest role a human can play. And it's so real, even though we're told everything is a game. The end of it all doesn't feel like a game.
No, I understand it would be incredibly overwhelming.
It's, yeah, it's making my heart very heavy.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you for that clarification. I was wondering, I've had a few sessions where clients have had past lifetime experiences where they were killed by reptilians. They were consumed, eaten by a reptilian. I was curious about what happens to a person's consciousness or soul when they are consumed by them. Is there any clarification or information you can share with me about that?
It wouldn't be any different than any other death. They might experience more trauma that they'll carry into their next life. But a death is a death. I know it sounds incredibly horrible to get eaten, but there's been many people that have been eaten by lions. You know, that doesn't sound as disgusting, but it's happened. It's trauma they'll carry into their next life.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I was just sort of pondering it because I know the reptilians can live for hundreds of years, and I was just wondering, does that hold any significance that you reincarnate and the being that killed you the last lifetime still here? I guess probably not.
No, you wouldn't necessarily incarnate in the same area or even recognize. You won't remember your prior life, so you wouldn't recognize the the, the threat or them being the predator before, even if you were to happen upon them in another lifetime.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Good to let me just clarify that with you. So thank you. Um, Last year in the US, there were many houses that burnt down to the ground, but the surrounding trees still stayed. And it seemed from just photos peculiar that just the houses were destroyed, but the surrounding environment and didn't seem too phased by it. It was like just the houses were affected and nothing else. What can you tell me about these fires?
There was many fires on the west coast of the U.S. Um, but everything in the path of those fires were consumed. I trying to scan other areas, but I'm not seeing what you're talking about. So I might be unaware of that situation. I
Okay,
don't know.
okay, oh, that's fine. And then what was the significance and purpose of those fires at that time?
Everything rejuvenates. Um, some things are cleansed. Fire definitely cleanses almost everything. Um, it is seasonal to have weather patterns, and the winds carry fire swifter than, of course, other other times of the year. Santa Ana winds, I believe they're called. Um, there was not a lot of rain to keep moisture even in the air, so everything was dry and brittle, and it caught on fire easy. So the significance of that happening, it looks like it's just a cycle that Earth has goes through. Every so often, you have droughts, and then when you have fires and the winds carry it, of course, it's going to burn up more, consume more. It just looks like a natural cycle of clearing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I have a question about the band The Beatles. Um, we have heard, not in session, so this is why I'm asking, that the original Paul McCartney is not the Paul McCartney that we know today.
Paul McCartney was replaced, it looks like, in the late 60s. They didn't want to have a lot of publicity about the failures of the original. So they brought a new one in, and he's lived with that name ever since.
Thank you. What happened to the original Paul McCartney?
He lived a very long life. It looks like that he had illegal activity that would embarrass the band. And that's why he was replaced. Um, he lived, though, a pretty long life, died somewhere in his late 60s, and he still resided, it looks like, in England at that time.
Oh. And so, what do you get a sense about with his illegal activities?
It seems that he took advantage of women. I don't want to use the word rape, but it almost looks like that.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. And in terms of John Lennon, are you able to give us a sense of the purpose of his departure? What was the lessons for him there?
He left the band when he got married, and he took on a different mindset because of his wife. He branched out on his own. He was successful. He was envied and also respected at the same time. The purpose of his death was more of a contract he had with his wife. She had to learn again to be alone and let go and develop on her own.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you very much. We were wondering if there is a message for humanity today.
From what I can see, everything is on schedule. It's been beautifully planned and orchestrated. Unfortunately, the plans can't be shared at this time. Everybody needs to continue to support and love each other. That is the strongest ingredient that expedites everybody's growth and shifting. I know that that is the focus of many that listen to these sessions. So, to move forward and to stay on course, please do your inner work. That I know it's trying and I know it's hard, but it promotes self love. You find yourself, you're proud of yourself, and you love yourself. And once you love yourself, you can love others better. Sometimes people say, I love you all the time, but they're empty words. You have to love yourself to love others. So the stronger that bond gets with yourself, the more that you can grow and help others grow. So
Absolutely.
keep up the good work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Great reminder. Thank you very much. In terms of any messages for me, is there anything that you would like to personally update me on?
I know that you are super excited on the inside about writing this. I almost want to call it a manual more than a book because it's so instrumental in helping people develop skills. You're going to be given a lot of yourself towards this project. It won't take near the time that you've predicted. It's just going to flow through you because all the ideas that are coming to you from your spiritual team, once you have your notes and organize your thoughts, you'll know exactly how to put all the pieces together. Your manual is going to be quite large once you're done. And once it's placed in strategic places after the shift, it will be found and it will be shared. And you will be very proud and keep this dear to your heart for eternity. So thank you for your service.
Oh, well, I feel like my attitude towards the project has changed as I have released all my judgment from it. So thank you very much for that clarification. Is it appropriate for me to have it as a PDF and share it freely so then people can print it out and do as they feel?
Yes, it's appropriate to do that. It's also appropriate if you wanted to publish it. The timeline is very tight because publishing and distributing before the event happens, it wouldn't help as many people as we would have hoped, but it will definitely help the people that will be staying here. But in a PDF form, it can be shared with everybody right now, and it will benefit everybody that chooses to read it and learn from it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then, do you get a sense that people would be emailing the PDF to each other just when they feel like things are starting to really be eventful and there's a lot more signs that the shift will be occurring?
It'll be distributed as soon as you finish it. Many in your group will be sending it along in emails, and then those people will send it along in emails. Many will receive it, and they will learn. It just may not spread as fast to help as many as other, if it were published like a year ago. But the timing was perfect for you to do it now. So I don't want to put any pressure on the timing.
That's fine. I understand. Thank you very much. And how, out of curiosity, when people tell me that they're staying on the old Earth, and I get a sense that this is the ego speaking, how is the best to help them?
Just like all the other ego-based people that have mindsets that they know everything and they're right, it's very hard to change their minds. It's best, I guess, to let them figure out on their own. And it may take up until the day of the shift. And then they'll realize, I'm shifting anyway. I don't get to stay here. Everybody that's at a certain vibration will be lifted off the planet that did not have contracts to stay.
Yes, I recall it being a level of frequency. And I guess this is the reason why a lot of people were worried that what they assumed was asleep friends and family would stay here on the earth. But that's not the case, is it?
No. I think we had this in a session before. The ones that aren't awake or have their inner work done, segregated, I hate that word. They will be sorted out and put into different classes of progress. They'll be put on different vessels so they have time to make those adjustments before they arrive at the destination that we've appointed.
Yeah, thank you. Is there any final messages that you have?
Not at this time. I think we've covered a lot.
Absolutely, we have. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'll ask the higher self to recede to where it belongs with much